Mark PERRIELLO and VELA, please come on up. So what I'd like to do to start off the conversation today is to spend a little bit of time with each of you first to talk a little bit about yourselves, your background, and your kind of career trajectory, what brought you to where you are, along the theme of what drives you. So Mark, after you.
All right, so, you know, it's an interesting question, how I get started, how I got where I am today. And really, I think it comes down to one word, and that is luck, quite frankly. You know, you show up every day, you do good work, you do the best that you can in whatever sort of the assignment is, the task is, whatever you're working on. And that puts you in a position, I think, so that luck comes your way. But if you really look, and I'm going to be sort of very personal about sort of how I got where I am, luck did have a big part of that. And so it starts back actually in college when I started out 2 years, I went undergrad at Brandeis, and it wasn't the place for me. Me and a friend decided to drop out of school, and we were going to move to Tahoe to ski. And so we get out to Tahoe in mid-August with our skis ready to go, and I actually fractured my back cliff diving. And so ended up back home in Boston and back at school. And when I finished college, I went to Rhodes College down in Memphis, Tennessee. But flash forward to, you know, sometime I think 3 years ago or so, I was in San Francisco, and I was waiting for my car at a hotel and was talking to the valet guy. I'm like, oh, where are you from? He's like, Minnesota. He's like, but you know, spent the past couple of years out in Tahoe skiing, and you know, now I'm doing this, you know, being a valet at the Marriott here. And I was thinking to myself, that could have been me. And you know what? It wasn't me, because, you know, life took a very, very different turn. And it was because of that accident when I was cliff diving. And I think there are a whole series of events like that. And so the boring answer, though, is, you know, I started at the Gore campaign in 1999 as a field director, and you know, we did everything we could to do the best job up in New Hampshire, and you know, because of the work we did in my region there, you know, he was able to win in New Hampshire and went on to win the primary. After that, I did a lot of work at the Human Rights Campaign, managing their political action committee, did some consulting work for folks like Russ Feingold and Young Democrats of America, went on to the Gay and Lesbian Victory Fund, where we put together that project in our community where we were identifying people who would be interested in serving in the administration. We did such a good job at that that I was really sort of fortunate to be asked to come to the White House and do the work that I was doing for the LGBT community with all of the constituency groups, but from the inside. So that's sort of the connection of how I got to where I am today.
I like how he did that thematic.
Yes. There you go.
That was good. Nice
but
one.
you know, the main point, though, I think, is that you do good work, and it speaks for itself, with a little bit of luck thrown in there.
I first like to thank Richard and Sabrina, because I think .429 is such an impactful entity, and I'm really proud of what the work they're doing, and all of their team, Anna and Adam Sandell back in San Francisco, and we just met, and so the whole team just fantastic. So commendation to them. I'm really, I think the first thing I have to say is I feel like the most blessed man in the world sometimes, because growing up chubby, bald, ugly, Latino down in South Texas, in the southern tip of Texas, you're not supposed to end up in the White House twice. And I'm very, very blessed to be the first gay American and the first Hispanic American. I'm going to start current and go backwards to the first one in the history of the United States to serve in the White House twice. I was Vice President Gore's Deputy Chief of Staff, and about 16 months ago or 17 months ago, I left the White House. Mark left right before me, or right after me? Right before me.
Right before?
Yeah. Didn't you? Yeah, I think so. But anyway, we served in the Obama,
So you're like the gay
Biden
diaspora from the White House.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
yes, we are.
Obama-Biden White House together.
Nice.
I was
Nice.
Vice President
Yep.
Biden's Deputy Chief of Staff for the first 16 months of the administration. So I start there because that alone tells you why I feel like I'm amazingly blessed. As you can imagine, once was a minor miracle, twice is a major miracle. And the only reason I share that with you is because I got to see our nation, our government, our democracy, our politics in 2 different White Houses, and to be able to have the chance to compare them. Maybe some other time we'll have a chance to have that dialogue, because that's an amazing dialogue to engage in. Moving backwards, I went to public schools down in South Texas. I'm proud of that. And I think it gave me early on, what drives me, I think, was humanity. And always, if you go through my whole career, which is so diverse and all over the damn map, you see a common thread, which is service, a willingness and an openness to give back, and really some deep desire to effectuate change and kind of leave the world just a tiny little iota better than the one I found. And that's kind of what drives me, and it drove me through the University of Texas, my undergraduate degree, where I bleed orange, and tomorrow we will upset the #1 Oklahoma Sooners. That's exactly right. God, this is an LGBT audience. They aren't even reacting to the sports thing.
The color of the uniforms is kind of a really lovely burnt orange.
Yeah, thank you.
If that's helpful. I thought that would be helpful.
And they wear see-through white pants. Oh, see, okay.
See?
Now I get it.
Yeah. And there's great food in Austin.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. And then I went to law school in San Antonio, Texas. And as Mark shares that luck plays such a big role, I want to add to that. For me, I have to tell you, I look back, and I think it was flexibility. Because I get asked a lot of times, did you plan this out? Well, you don't plan 2 times in the White House. You just don't.
Some people try.
They try. That's right. And I think they don't get there because they try and plan it. And I think the reality is, in life, is to be open to whatever the universe sends you, and be ready and flexible, so that if you're going to take a turn, you're ready to take the turn. You're open to whatever the universe is going to bring you. So that would be, I think, what I would say has been my, kind of mantra, if you will, has been flexibility. And I also want to share with you one other mantra that I live by, and that is never, ever, ever be afraid to admit what you don't know, and surround yourself with people who know what you don't know. I really believe that has been a very important part of the few gifts that I've been given in life. I feel came to me because I've lived by that mantra. And at the end of the day, I'll tell you another one. Whether it was in the White House, Mark will attest to this, every meeting I've ever conducted, whether it was on a corporate boardroom in a Fortune 500 company, to the janitors at a school where I was a substitute teacher, to the members of an association that I ran nationally, or in the White House with colonels and generals, I always use the word love at some point in every meeting I conduct.
How's that go over in D.C.?
Squirmy, cringy. But I do it on purpose because I really believe at the end of the day, it's all about love. And if you're looking at me like he's crazy, like he's been eating too much granola and eating too much seaweed, which is clearly not the case.
Gonna make you move to California in a minute.
So anyway, I hope that answers the question, and I hope that kind of shows you a little bit of where my heart is. But I really do believe at the end of the day, it's about love and it's about human connection.